Okay, let's do a quick tutorial on how I wash my motorcycles. This is not the only way to do it, but it's the way I do it after about 15 or 20 years of trying different methods. We're going to wash my GS after 1,000 miles of on and off-road riding. It had a lot of dust on it, a lot of dead bugs, a little bit of mud, but overall not too dirty this time. But anyway, we'll walk you through what I do. So let's look at the tools. First thing you need is a dirty motorcycle. It doesn't have to be a GS, it can be any bike. Other things that I like to use, I've got a clean bucket here with what I've done is I put car wash soap and I've used a car wash mitt. So this soap is not a degrease, it's not a dish soap. Don't use dish soap for this part. It's a car wash soap here, and I'll explain why. The other tools I've got, just a regular on-off nozzle with adjustable for my hose. Now this is an extra step that I take that makes things really easy. You can see I've got my gasoline pressure washer here, and this is what's called a foam gun or a soap gun. This one says Snow Foam Lance by whatever that company is, probably some Amazon thing. You can adjust the amount of soap that comes out, and we're going to get to this. So my pressure washer, my soap gun, my mitt with the soap. And in terms of preparing the bike, I'm not real careful about it. I know a lot of people plug the exhaust. I just try not to spray into the exhaust. I don't really do anything to prep it. I mean, I take off anything like cell phones. The GPS can stay on because it's waterproof. It's a motorcycle GPS. I don't really do much in terms of preparation. The only thing I've done so far is I took just regular water and just rinsed the bike down. So it had a lot of dust and dirt, mud sticking to it. So I just rinsed it down with the water. So now it's sitting here and ready to go to the next step. Okay, I've got the foam lance attached to the pressure washer. It's kind of hard to do here with one hand. What I'm going to do now is I'm simply going to use the foam lance and soap the bike down. Be generous with the soap. So it just looks like this, okay? Now obviously I'm going to get closer and do a better job, okay? Hold on. Okay, I've got the bike soaped up with the foam cannon. So you can see everything is dripping in suds. The reason I like to do this on a motorcycle especially, you can see how much foam there is here, is that all the little nooks and crannies on a motorcycle, especially a bike like the GS, but really any bike, when the soap gets shot in there with the foam cannons, it just cleans things much easier for you. So you can see it's all soaked up. So what I'm going to do next is just grab my bucket here with the car wash soap. And by the way, the soap that I used in the foam cannon had a little bit of degreaser soap in it, like dish soap, just to help break up some of the grease in the engine and things like that, or the wheels. So anyway, so what I'm going to do now is just take this and simply just start going over the bike with the sponge, focusing on areas that have a lot of dead bugs or dirt or anything like that. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm done with the sponge. I sponged down the whole bike and tried to focus on areas that were more dirty. Don't worry about getting every single thing because we're going to deal with that later. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my hose. I like to use an open hose like this. I call it an open hose rinse. It's also something people do in the car world. It just allows me to sort of rinse the bike off a little bit better. Sorry. And it doesn't leave as much water spots, I find. So I'm going to rinse all the soap off, just roll gently with the open hose, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've rinsed the bike down really good. You don't see any more soap residue. Well, I lied, maybe a tiny bit here and there. But for the most part, I've washed off the soap. The bike, from this distance, looks pretty damn clean. But I wouldn't say it's detailed yet. I would just say it's clean. By the way, some people in the adventure bike, dual sport world, say, oh, just keep your bike dirty. It's a, street cred and all this kind of stuff. But I disagree. I mean, when you're out on a ride or a trip, yeah, your bike's gonna be dirty. That's great. But when you get home and you have a minute, you really should clean your equipment. Cleaning it allows you to restore it to clean condition, how it's designed to operate. Plus, when you're cleaning it, you'll see anything that might be wrong, something come loose or something you might need to address before your next big trip. So a big advocate for keeping stuff clean and in new condition as much as possible. Also, oh, why is the bike not scratched, or comments like that. Well, this bike happens to be pretty new, but I just don't crash a lot because I've been riding a long time. So anyway, the next topic is drying the bike. So there's different opinions on it. For me, there's a couple things I do. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start the motorcycle and run it for a few minutes. That'll dry off like areas in the engine and different areas, radiators. It'll clean the exhaust if any water got in there. So idle it, let it get a little bit warmed up. And while it's doing that, I'll go over the bike with a drying cloth. I have some of those car drying cloths that I use, but you can use just about anything that soaks up water. The other method I use sometimes is a leaf blower. A leaf blower, and I probably will do it on this one, blows the water out of all the little nooks and crannies, just kind of like the soap gun got the soap in there. The leaf blower will blow it all out. So it's a good thing I like to do. It just takes another minute. So anyway, I'll come back in a sec. Okay, so I'm done with the leaf blower part of the drying, and you can see the leaf blower did a pretty good job, especially like cleaning all the nooks and crannies that are kind of hard to get your hands in. And I turned the bike off. So the next thing I'm going to do is just a couple final steps to sort of detail the bike out. You know, if you have a cruiser or something like that with a lot of chrome, this might take a bit more time. You might have some different products, but on an adventure bike or kind of a normal street bike, this is kind of what I do. So I just have some like car quick detailer. You can use spray wax. You can use, actually I've had really good luck with, believe it or not, furniture polish like Pledge. That's kind of famous out there, right, for cleaning your helmet or your windshield. It does work good. I use that too when I have it around. So what I'll do is for areas like the plastic panels that you want to look pretty, mirrors, windshields, dash, headlights, your fenders, I'll use a microfiber towel. Get these at Costco, by the way, they're cheaper, and some quick detailer, just kind of detail those things out. And then something to keep in mind, if you're gonna get down and like clean your wheels or your exhaust or anything that might be a little bit more dirty, I keep these towels in like 3 groups, kind of ABC groups. You can tell I'm also a car guy. I do this detailing on cars, but keep different groups of towels. So don't use your brand new clean towel on like your wheels or tires or anything that's going to get gunky, because then you just ruined your towel. So I'll go to the B or C group of towels to do that. So once I'm done with this, I'll be back. Okay, we're almost done. So one thing you'll notice is that I was just back from a trip, pretty good trip with a lot of dirt riding, and my luggage was dirty, was just dusty mostly. You'll notice I left it on for cleaning. I just find it's easier to go ahead and clean the luggage when it's suspended on the rack. So I left it on the bike, used the soap, used the water, cleaned it. Just find that it's easier to do that. Couple things you got to watch for. See, you got a little water in there, so you want to make sure you get this dried out and don't let it water sit in there, especially if you have soft bags. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the luggage off the bike because I'm not planning to use the bike for a trip for a while, so that I can sort of get better access to clean my exhaust can and some other things. But mostly just I'm going to take the luggage off and dry it and then finish cleaning the bike. So that's kind of it. Like I said, I'll take my luggage off and kind of finish the drying. What I'll also do is I'll take some rags and kind of finish up my wheels and exhaust and anything down lower, or use one of my dirtier rags. But as you can see, for not that much effort, the motorcycle is pretty darn clean. I don't see any dead bugs. Looks pretty shiny. It's ready for your local bike night, or because it's a GS, probably your Starbucks rally. So anyway, good to go, and we'll see you guys next time.